Here's the other story we're following. This week, a California jury awarded a couple more than $2 billion for the damage caused to them by Roundup, a product that's manufactured and marketed as safe by Monsanto. This is the 8th biggest personal injury case in U.S. history. It's the 3rd suit that Monsanto has lost, and there are apparently about 3,000 more to go. Can you imagine? 3,000 lawsuits against one company. Can Monsanto survive this? We have the perfect guest on this story, by the way. You've got to listen to this guy. Mitchel Cohen has just written a book and released it, and the book is entitled The Fight Against Monsanto's Roundup. In fact, he's got a really pretty picture of the product right there front and center. Mitchel, thanks so much for joining us, sir. Who's winning this fight, by the way?
Well, it's mixed now all over the world. People are fighting back. And just to correct you a little bit,
sure,
there are now 13,900 lawsuits against Monsanto, which is now owned by Bayer, our friendly aspirin company. And they face over $1 trillion in potential fines. And so there's a new effort to get rid of the president of the CEO of Bayer. There's a shareholders revolt, as well as revolts of people all over the country. And so it's quite great that people are fighting back. There's a movement everywhere in the world against Monsanto.
Let me take a rudimentary stab at this from the standpoint of a person who may be watching our show and just doesn't understand. If I had a company, and it was called Company X, in this case it's Monsanto, and I had a product that had 13,000 lawsuits against it, and I just signed off on a $2 billion lawsuit that I lost, why would I keep running commercials for this product? Why would I be fighting so hard to keep this product on the shelves?
Good question. Because that's the nature of American business, and who's going to try and take over who owns the seeds all over the world. So the Bayer-Monsanto merger has taken over about 30% of the world's seeds, all genetically engineered. And then there are 2 other giant mergers of corporations that own the other 50% of the world's seeds. So that's between Syngenta and ChemChina, between Dow and DuPont, which is now called Corteva. So this is a major struggle going on to who's going to control the seeds, who's going to control the food of the world, the land of the world, what's planted on it, who's growing it. This is all huge profits.
You know what I would like to understand, and I figure you're the guy who wrote the book, so you can maybe help us understand this. What does Monsanto do to help them remain as powerful as they are, and how much of their action is nefarious?
All of it. A lot of people call it Monsanto. It's a horrible company, but it's not the only one. And that's one of the things that the environmental movement needs to address. For instance, in Venezuela right now, to tie into your previous story, Venezuela is one of only 7 countries in the world that bans the growing of genetically engineered seeds and the import of genetically engineered products. So there are only 7 countries in the entire world, and Venezuela is one of them. And the U.S. doesn't like it. And it's a huge problem for, so to answer your question about Monsanto, could you repeat it again, to have the detail that you wanted?
Yeah, no, I mean, if they're nefarious, what we have read is that Monsanto in the past has a tendency to buy politicians, pay people off, and do all kinds of things that would be considered corrupt, and yet they get away with it because they have a lot of money, and they're able to pay people to get away with their misdeeds.
Not only that, they sue little farmers, people who can't afford it. They sue people. They don't allow labels that say this product does not contain genetically engineered products. They find ways of trying to, when the drift happens from their genetically engineered or pesticided products onto non-pesticided, non-genetically engineered farms.
Yeah.
And then they sue the farmers for stealing their products.
Who had nothing to do with it,
than-
right? If it drifted, it's the wind,
Right.
essentially. I've seen those reports, and it's fascinating. Mitchel Cohen, thank you, sir, for taking us through this. And just to be fair, we have always reached out to Monsanto to give them an opportunity to present their point of view, and the offer stands. I'm Rick Sanchez. You found us on YouTube, and that's awesome. But you know what? I'm also live every night at 7 and 8 p.m. Eastern on DirecTV and Dish and cable and satellite, the RT app, and Pluto TV. I'll see you there.